What's up? Show you what I'm doing. So I'm doing a 30-foot long desktop out of white oak. It's white oak slabs that I milled last summer. Been drying them in this greenhouse for a year. They're just over 2 inches thick. Just kind of rough cut them down to get some of the garbage off them. And what I made was a router sled setup here. So normally I'd hand plane my stuff flat, but some of these, like this one here, get a good view. You can see how much, you can't really see it that good. There's a pretty good hump in it. It's pretty twisted like that. Hopefully this lasts, but I made a router sled setup, so I want to show you what I did here. Of course, for me, I'll include this in the cost of the job. This is a big job. It's not a cheap job. 30-foot desktop out of white oak like this is going to be a lot of money. But I took 1x6 SPF and 1x10. They happen to be Douglas fir because they didn't have any SPF. I jointed them and cut them down to 9 inches on these and 5 inches on these. So leaving me a 4-inch hole in case I want to do some 4-inch slabs. You can see how I screwed them together. I used little blocks clamped on here so that they're flush to the bottom. So I have a flat surface on the top. I cut them on the table saw. So what I did was I jointed them and then I cut them to like 9 1/4 and then cut them to 9 inches so that we have flat sides on 2 sides. Same thing with these to 5 inches. Put them together with headlocks, Timberlock product, headlocks. I have adjustable sawhorses which make it easier to level the twist out of it because, you know, it's still going to be twisted in here. You know, I'm working on an uneven floor, but it's still going to be twisted. So I can level it with these. You could do it with shims if you had to. I put in, let's see if you can see down here, but put in ones on the end, and then just how the lumber worked out, there were like 4 in the middle and 1 on the end. I mean, you could cut it down if you wanted to, but I used 2 12-footers. I made this 12 feet long. I used 2 12-footers of the 1x6, 2 12-footers of the Douglas fir. And then I also got a couple of 12-footers to lay in here to shim this up. So basically, I have 4 inches here. This is 2 inches. This gets me up another 1.5 inches. In theory, getting me a 1/2 inch below the top. Now they're not perfect, but I don't know if you can see this right now. I haven't routed it yet, but so you can see it's just below the top. Now I could use plywood in here or whatever. I mean, you could use shims, you could do anything to get it just below the top to come up. So you have the 4 inches, so I could do a 4-inch slab. And then you're shimming up this slab evenly to be able to take it down even, and you want to get it close to the top so that the router bit's not extending a lot. You can see how much, actually you can see compared to that straight edge how much curve there is in the slab. And like I said, normally I would do this with hand planes, but I'm going to do it with routers and take that out. I will, not exactly sure 100% on the whole system here yet, but this end's kind of, as you can see, it's kind of up. We'll probably put a screw through here, screw it down so it's down tight. Same thing over here, just screw this down so it's down tight. You could screw these down to the bed at each support to make sure that number one, they don't move, and number two, that when you're shimming this, now with slabs this big, these slabs probably weigh 300 pounds, maybe even a little more, about 300 pounds each. So, you know, these are going to sit pretty flat on their own. They don't need to be secured. And I'll run the router across them tomorrow, start one by one. And the big question, I use winding sticks to take the wind out of the setup. So put a winding stick across the far side and then one across the near side here, and then adjusted the sawhorses until the winding sticks were perfectly level to make sure that the setup itself is square. Obviously, you know, in here on the dirt, there's no way to work off of a reference point, so you have to do that too. But it's all set up to go on this one, and like I said, I'll get this secured down, route it, and then just the big question is it going to stay flat until I use it? So I'm going to route all 4 of them. I'm only going to use 3 of them. There'll be a 45 in the corner, mortise and tenon draw bore, and then I'll do a draw bore mortise and tenon joint on the long straight edge is 20 feet and the short one is like 9. So one slab will be the 9-foot with a 45. One slab will be like a 10-footer with a 45, and then you'll have another 10-footer going to the other wall. Natural edge on the front, square edge on the back with cleats on the wall all the way around. So that's what I'm doing, but I wanted to show the setup to make a rudimentary router sled. Now I made this one 3 feet wide. You could get another couple of boards of SPF and cut them 4 feet wide and take these screws out, screw it all back together, make it 4 feet wide if you want, or 5 feet wide or 6 feet wide, whatever you want. I already have a sled that's 4 feet and a Bosch 1617 with 1.5 inches, a Manabit that I'll use for this. I actually might pick up one of those surfacing bits with the replaceable carbide teeth and just see how it works. But you know, this setup costs about $200, just round numbers. About $200. It's going to get priced into the job, so it doesn't really, in theory, cost me anything. But then I'll take it apart and keep it someplace dry so that I can use it whenever I want. But yeah, adjustable, 4 inches depth. You could also, you know, if you had to go thicker than that, you could, you know, cut up some more SPF thinner, put them in. But yeah, I think it's a good way to do it. So most of the time I've done, you know, I've never had to surface slabs this big with a router. I've always done it by hand and done it with planes. So this is going to be out in the field down and dirty. I'm in a greenhouse right now, as you guys can see. Slabs everywhere for different projects. Some over here going in a big octagonal bamboo shower that I made. It's going to cover up the mixer head and everything. One going vertical to cover the pipes. All these black locust slabs here are going to be benches and shelves in that project too. Some pretty big stuff here. These are, I don't know if you can see how long they are, but these are probably 14-foot black locust slabs. These are all black locust. There's nothing else here. There's some tamarack, some larch over there. A couple of tamarack slabs. There's oak on the top. But yeah, so these are down bone dry, and I'm going to get to surfacing them, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, it'll be a neat project, and I will take some pictures and kind of show you along with the process here. So right now that's where we are, and tomorrow we'll be surfacing and making a mess, and we'll take it from there. So hopefully the battery lasted, and time to go home. Have a great night. Thanks.